Okay, so my guest this morning, I have Joseph Ni Adekoka. He's a chairman for the NDC Greater Accra, and well, they have closed the nominations for the primaries, and the primaries are expected to be convened somewhere in November. Okay.
7th
November
7th.
November 7th. Yes. Okay. I'll ask you very soon how it's going to be done that very day. But Obiamwa Osebonsuamwa is also a member of parliament for Ikuapem South. Well, he was retained, so he's a parliamentary candidate also, incumbent. You know, they also have a lot of advantage as far as that is concerned. He's a member of the MPP as well, and we'll have a lot more discussions on that very subject of the MPP, perhaps later if we have the time, because a number of things seem to have overshadowed the problems of the party. And topically, we have to start with what went on with those demonstrators picketing and advocating for a new voters register and adding their calls for the other parties like the MPP and I believe the CPP in some respect and the rest of civil society about the need for a new voters register, mainly based on that very press conference and the evidence that the MPP says it has gathered about a bloated register and some names that are in the register not supposed to be there by law. And so we bring you a story that has been compiled by a correspondent.
The demonstration started peacefully at Obrasport, where protesters were seen with placards spelling their demands for a new voters register.
It is our right to demonstrate. We have the right to demonstrate. So that I don't think the EC has the right to resist our demonstration. That wouldn't be right.
What else are you going to do?
We'll keep, pleading with them to do the right thing, because it will be more expensive or it will be more costly to go into war than to listen to the voice of the people. Whether or not we like it, our neighboring countries have gone through it. It has happened in our neighboring countries, so we shouldn't be complacent. We shouldn't think that it cannot happen in Ghana. When people are fed up, when people are tired of bad governance, they will resist. They will stand up against the bad governance. What I advise the EC to do is to listen to the voice of the masses.
With the crowd growing thicker, a promise of a peaceful protest by organizers seemed a little too difficult to adhere to, as the demonstrators chose to use an unapproved route. In its attempt to get the protesters to stick to the approved routes, the police fired tear gas and deployed water cannons into the gathering.
Eventually, they set off to their destination, which is Hasselfolk Park, through the approved route, that is coming Nkrumah Avenue, linking up with the Atamils High Street, and then terminating at the Hasselfolk Park. However, a little distance into the journey, they decided to veer off onto this particular route that we are standing on, apparently heading for the EC, much against the order of the court. And police, being peace officers and law enforcers, we decided to stop them. And that is what we have been doing up to this point.
Some random arrests were made, with the convener of the Let My Vote Count Alliance spending several hours in police custody. Some protesters also seem to have suffered one form of assault or another, with former executive director of Dankwa Institute, Gabi Ochidaku, among a number of persons spotted with bruises.
And the rest of the photos are on social media and other news portals, as you can't find them on the World Wide Web. But we're here to talk about it. It's another show of police brutality. And in my career as a journalist, I've been through many of such instances in which the police, well, they try to say they are keeping the peace, but sometimes just go overboard, extremely overboard in some respect.
Well, thank you.
Is it one of them?
Thank you, and then good morning to viewers. I need to get these two things out of the way. One, today is Samuel Nuame's funeral. That's why I'm in this apparel. May his soul rest in peace. It's a very tragic situation, and we wish he has the best of funerals. And then this will never happen again to any of our journalists. Very tragic. And then the second one is, this weekend CPP is having its Congress. We wish them all the best. I thought the Deputy Communication Director who came around would rather dwell on the CPP Congress.
But that was not why we called it.
Yesterday's demonstration. But coming back to yesterday's demonstration, I would say that what happened is very disgraceful. It was unprofessional on the part of the police, and it doesn't really send the right signals and message to the rest of the world. Elsewhere, policemen who have acted this way have been suspended. Indeed, if they've gone through the professional ethics to ensure that whether they even deserve to remain in the police service. Because what happened yesterday could have been avoided. How do we operate in this country? We have the Public Order Act. The Constitution, the Act, gives every person the right to go on demonstration. What you need to do is to inform the police about that demonstration so that the police, more or less, will give you protection. Now, we get into a situation where when you want to go on demonstration, the police will run to court for an ex parte application. Ex parte meaning that the other party is not even heard. They go and come back and tell you that this is what you've secured from the court, so this is what you should do. Very simple. We heard the organizers saying that indeed, because the police had a court order, they were bound to obey the court order. Now, what was the situation? That the protesters and organizers, especially the leaders, had decided to send a petition to Parliament House and to the Electoral Commission. Later on, they said they had abandoned the petition to Parliament House. Indeed, Parliament is even on recess.
And did they inform the police?
They informed the police.
That we're not going to Parliament anymore?
Yes. That's number one. Number two, they said they had agreed with the police that indeed only a few of the leaders should be allowed to go to the EC to present their petition. I see this whole situation as where they, as a civil society organization, have also decided to send their views on the register. And they want to dramatize it by going on the streets.
Which is legal.
Which is legal.
With the Constitution allowed.
Yes, and from there, get their leaders to present what they think should be done about the register. This is a simple process. How this should degenerate into whipping and tear gas and pepper spray is very disgraceful. I think that the police, I commend media houses like Joy. You have all the pictures. I think that the police administration should come for some of these pictures, study them, and then find a way of getting some of these officers reprimanded and punished and appear before committees as to whether this is how they've taught them to do crowd control. This thing cannot go on.
Okay. I mean, but there are basic questions like, did they agree on the route with the police? Did the police say that the bunch of the demonstrators that we had, thousands of them, could go to the electoral commission?
I've been to several demonstrations. Sometimes those of us who even follow, we follow those who lead. A large demonstration that I joined, which ended up at the House Park. We got to a point, the Farisco joint. People didn't know whether we should continue through UTC.
Why shouldn't they know? The route is mapped out.
At the end of the day,
agreed with the police.
Yes,
you don't go on the demonstration grounds and the route and decide to change the route.
That is even beside the point. In the first place,
it shouldn't be beside the point.
It's even beside the point.
No,
because if the leaders have agreed with the police, eventually we all saw the police moving in one direction. We followed them. We passed through UTC, ended up at House Park peacefully. Nothing happened.
But that's that demonstration.
Now, if you're police and you're really serious about what you're doing, you could even mount about 3 barriers before the EC, where you have said that this place is a no-go area, and indeed nobody can enter.
Is it not?
Why should this lead? You heard the police, the PR or director of communication saying that a short distance or a little distance
into the demonstration,
the crowd started veering off.
But that's true.
Veering off where?
But some of the media
houses. If you are from Obra House, if you are from Obra Sport, and you're going through the business district before you get to EC or House Park, at what point did you veer off for it to warrant this kind of brutality? It doesn't wash. I mean, I was expecting to hear something better than what he was saying. At the end of the day, there will be more demonstrations in this country.
Before 2016,
of course. I mean, and everybody has a right to go on demonstration. Teachers go on demonstration. Nurses go on demonstration. even we were in this country when police officers went on demonstration. It's their right. But at the end of the day, the police should know that when it comes to crowd control and protecting those who are on demonstration, they should go about it in a better way than what they did. What they did yesterday was very unprofessional. And I'm not blaming the whole police service. I'm blaming those who were sent there yesterday and how they conducted themselves. I saw pictures, people lying in gutter and surrounded by 5 or 6 policemen.
And some of them were
beating.
Some of them were crouched
Yes.
down and they were still being beaten because they were harmless.
Yes.
And armed.
Yes. If you thought the person had even flouted the law, 5 of you were surrounding him. You arrest him. That's the end of the matter.
Well, we do.
You have to beat him in the gutter.
That's not fair. That's pure. That's pure abuse of human rights.
Of course.
Yeah.
And the police administration should not let this just go away. This is blatant abuse of power, abuse of office, very unprofessional and backward. We should not allow counting this anywhere. If it happens under any government, we should all protest. The IGP should know better. IGP should tell the whole world that indeed some of his officers misbehaved and that they are going to take media action against some of these people. That is the best way you go about it. That's where we watch on TV what happens and then how the administration deals with the matter.
Like in the US when we've had a lot of blacks.
Yes, this is how we expect it. Otherwise, you expect people to go on demonstration next time and they too will be armed. Would that be safe for this country? Because I decide to go on demonstration, I have all the authority to do it, I have the freedom to do it. I go on the streets, the next time I see, I'm surrounded by policemen beating me up.
Mr. Adekoka, your comment on what really transpired yesterday. If you have perhaps some rhetorical questions you would want to ask, I think also you have the right to do so.
Viewers.
Morning to you too. And thanks for coming.
Good. My brother is really not well informed. I happen to be very for political expediency and also for me to avail myself of the facts. You know, my office is not far from that area.
You and I office
exactly. So I position myself in a place that I can see, observe.
I did too, actually.
Good. Now, there was a barrier from the traffic lights. There are 2 traffic lights.
Yeah. The one at the extreme
at the extreme end, at the Braka end. There was a police barrier there. Then there was one at the second traffic light. Then there was one by the cathedral, and then the one by the main Adabraka trial. So if you're talking of barriers,
talking towards the EC. Towards the EC office. Because that's where they prevented them from going. Towards the EC office. There were more cars.
You were talking about barriers. Obi, I kept quiet.
No, you are saying I'm not well informed.
I'm telling you.
And I'm saying that
you were talking about barriers. So let me finish.
I didn't just say
let
barriers.
me finish. Obi.
I said that if you wanted to prevent them from going to
and I'm telling you how
you should set up the barriers towards the EC office.
I love this debate.
Yeah, how prevention is done. Because they gave them the route. The route from Obra Park.
No, they had
I hope they are not defending the police in this matter.
I'm coming. Let me tell you.
They had agreed the route.
They had agreed the route, and then the police went to the court. You're a lawyer. Whether ex parte is an illegal document or not, you are here to say. But I know that when there's an ex parte.
I didn't say ex parte.
Well, I'm just saying that.
No,
ex parte is a legal document from the court, and we are all supposed to obey a rule of law in this country. We are supposed to obey the rules that. So when they left, they are supposed to go straight across Farisco, turn, and then go to pass through Professor Mills and enter House of Folk Park, and that was it. They had no business coming to this side of the city, and the police, to prevent them and to make sure that
as if they were anticipating,
they mounted the barriers about, let's say, 5 or 10 kilometers from the electoral commissioner, and that was the proper thing to do. There was the proper thing to do, and the leaders who wants to be future leaders of this country, who should know and obey the rules, rather try to
force their way through. I was watching it. That was what really.
I was there.
At the end of the day, the point is, what has come up for debate is
how they reacted.
Yes, the police brutality towards the demonstrators.
This is the first
because at the end of the day, also they are unarmed.
Yeah,
they are backed by the constitution for their rights to be obeyed.
Yeah. I saw even a cluster.
This country,
throwing tear gas, and the police themselves were running away.
This country, we've got a tendency, right, or being hypocrites.
I'm not sure this is one of the tendencies.
Let me tell you something.
Please do.
When NDC was in opposition,
they
wanted to go to the castle, right, to present a petition. Amwakwata, remember, he was beaten to pulp and he died.
You're talking about Oforiatta.
Oforiatta, yes. You know.
He didn't die as
that was what his family claimed to be. That's what his family claimed.
He died
as a result of
subsequently.
As a result of
and according to what the allegation
whatever it is, he went to a demonstration and was beaten. A beating is a beating. Whether he died 5 years later or not, he said that was the result of his dying.
But you're not saying it should be repeated.
I'm saying that this culture of every political party, see, that's why I want to situate the thing.
It's not a political party.
I'm coming. Look, I'm coming. Sometimes we play with semantics. Semantics.
But it's a pressure group. No matter how you want to say it may have been.
It is my opinion.
Yes,
allow me to have my opinion. Allow me.
These are facts.
No, I'm saying it's a political party. Because the NPP said they were going to support them with funds. They are youth organizer, the national organizer came on air and said going to support them with money.
So it makes it a political.
Yes, please. So let's get it right. And more so, MPP, you've sent a petition to Electoral Commissioner, and the Electoral Commissioner says that by 22nd September, every political party should bring their submission. Electoral Commission has not pronounced anything.
But you know, following or hence, the Electoral Commission also pronounced that whichever civil society organization or entity that had any concern, they should also
exactly.
So what they did was
when MPP
you're not saying that because they said the political parties.
MPP were taking their document to the Electoral Commission, did they organize a demonstration?
Well, they could have decided to do that.
No, I'm asking you a question.
No, they didn't.
They didn't. Yeah. I'm asking you said you should ask questions. They didn't. So if, as a civil society, you also have a petition, peacefully go and submit the Electoral Commission. And then give them
but
time.
Inherent in the Constitution is the right to demonstrate,
I'm not saying that nobody has got the right. You see, you only pick it or you go on demonstration when what you are asking for, right, has not really been dealt with. But here we are. A timeline has been given that 22nd September, every party should submit, and then we'll start discussion. But from day one, the moment you are trying to use your own force to determine what should be done.
You are not speaking for the police.
I'm not speaking. I'm speaking as a Ghanaian that we should know how to do things right, so that there will be peace in this country. Somebody was saying there was going to be war. There will be no war in this country. The way me and my brother here, when you go outside, we'll be talking as brothers. There's no way I will take a gun over his head because of politics. I will never do that in my life.
Okay, but Obi, but we have to be realistic. Yes. The point is the leaders of the demonstration, Let My Vote Count Aloud, they decided to agree with certain routes with the police. Indeed, my office is just a few meters away from the weather incident, and my office is close to Adekoka. At the end of the period,
is it on the opposite?
No, I went to stand. I went to stand.
Office, or is it
my office is still there.
No, we're just around the same. But at the end of the day, you get to see that. Okay, you get to see that exactly. there were blocks by the police. But indeed, what even in the media we were communicated to was that the demonstrators were not supposed to go to the Electoral Commission.
Yes.
So, at what point do we have to see?
Where did they start attacking the demonstrators? Was it on around the premises of the EC?
No, it was not.
No. So
you're saying they could have gone close?
Yes.
Did they change routes in any way?
I wouldn't know. I wasn't part of it. But what I'm saying is that whatever they
no, you're speaking a lot.
Whatever happens, leaders of said demonstrations should be held accountable for whatever happens. Leaders should be held accountable.
I like that.
So if at the end of the day, the police is able to prove that you flouted the law, let the law take its course. But you don't brutalize people on the streets just because you think that they have not obeyed court order. Then why did you go to court? You should have then decided to do it your own way. If you went to court, that means you were ready to follow the rules we're ready to go to court
Hindsight.
to enforce.
Hindsight, or hypothetically, let's say the demonstrators, as they had intended, had broken through the ranks or the barriers
How are they
of the
going
police.
to do that? I saw armored cars all over the place. How are they going to do that?
Obi.
I mean, armless. People were not armed. People were just holding placards.
We were here, residents of Sodom and Gomorrah, broke through the ranks of the police and headed
And
towards where they
we
had
all
to.
cascaded the security
Yes, but
services.
it had happened. It was a security threat.
Yeah, that's how come this time around they prepared themselves. Look at the kind of gear they sent
Yes,
to the place.
to stop them from
They
breaking
prepared
through.
themselves, but that doesn't mean that if you think somebody has
The
started
preparation
them,
was to stop them, is that not it?
And they were
Stop
forced.
them.
Why do you go and
To
put
hit them.
Why do you go and put armored cars and
hit them.
and
To fire-
gas
to fire,
and gas
bullets.
and gas and tear gas
Look,
firing
I
cannon
saw
cars?
your pictures at one point because we all heard that they said they were throwing stones. But the pictures I saw, the police had surrounded the group. Then all of a sudden, there was this tear gas. So I saw female policewomen running away from the tear gas. And I was saying, I thought if they would throw a tear gas, the police is here, the crowd is here. And then the crowd is approaching or trying to be unruly, so you disperse them with tear gas. But you have surrounded them. So if you throw the tear gas, how are you dispersing them when you have surrounded them? Is that policing? Is that how to control crowd when you think they are unruly? This is wrong, we must condemn it. Next time it will happen to any of us. I mean, I just changed my mind at the last moment not to go for this demonstration. But it doesn't change anything. The crowd was impressive. They had every right to demonstrate. We should encourage all those who want to demonstrate. He is a veteran when it comes to demonstration. CJ, what didn't they do? When the police commander said charge during their time, and they ran on them, they complained to.
Exactly.
So now they are complaining.
I said so.
So nobody can just fight. And I
Obi.
said that irrespective of the government in power,
Obi.
we should separate the government from the police administration.
Obi.
If the IGP and his men and women have done the wrong thing, we should all say it and condemn them. This should not be happening in this democracy at this time. Then why do we fight for all this democracy?
The last time you went to demonstration, did the police attack you?
No, but it happened this time around.
I'm coming. Because let me finish. Oh, please,
the parameters are different.
I'm coming, please.
They are different.
Please, I'm coming.
answering you.
Please, I'm coming.
I'm
You
answering you.
obeyed
It's not a matter of
you
obeying.
obeyed the route that you said you
The
were going to
parameters are
traverse.
different.
Please,
We didn't say we were going to present
with the police.
We didn't say we were going to present any petition.
No,
That's number one.
Okay.
The police,
you could have presented the petition at Has Park.
That's
What's
where
talking about that?
the easy
What,
office
they could have sent a representative there.
Well, that's where
They could have sent a
the easy
representative
office
there.
is
They
a
could
house
have
park.
sent a representative
Yeah, I
there.
said that house coach that we are going to do the
well,
All right, that's all right.
The Lord and your house.
Okay, that's all right, the two of you.
The question is that
I need to change the subject so that I'll bring a subject that is
Don't defend them.
that is
Don't
more
defend them.
subtle.
Don't
I want
defend
to bring
them.
a subject that is
Yes,
more
Don't
subtle.
defend them.
I'm
So
coming.
it can happen to you.
Please,
Don't
So
defend
you
them.
wrap up for me.
Please,
You
let me
see,
wrap up.
As you're wrapping up, let me
Yeah.
add this. We see pictures,
Yes.
and I have gone severally to cover stories in which I was also in harm's way. And you see pictures of people with blood oozing from
Their
whether
eyes.
beneath their eyes or people caned with bamboo sticks and things like that. At
They're
the end-
holding kings. I was surprised.
at the
Holding
end
case
of the
to
day,
do
it
what?
means that
I
you are
don't
holding
protect
the,
animals.
it means that you don't respect the human beings at the end of the policing is
Very
supposed to be
unprofessional.
a civil public activity, is that not it?
Action and reaction
What action and
gives
reaction?
you that result. I'm saying that as a people, right, we should do our thing in a civil manner. We go and agree certain principles. Let us work with the principle.
And if
If
you don't-
NDC is misbehaving and they are going on a demonstration and they are told to go to this direction and they go and meet that kind of resistance by disobeying,
You support the beating.
I'll support the beating.
I hope you coach him well.
Yeah, you caught me well. I'll
How
support
would
the
you coach
beating.
him? I will never support
We should be
any
law abiding in this country.
Okay.
If this country is going to the dogs, and we should be a law abiding.
So if
certain
the
people want
president-
to, certain
if the
people want to
president
take
is not
this
law
country-
abiding, we
the
should beat him.
president is law abiding.
If the president
You
goes
start-
off
that-
court,
that-
we should go and
that's
beat
that's
him.
Okay, I'm
why
changing
we
the
got
subject,
impeachment. That's why we got impeachment laws.
Yes.
So you go to parliament and impeach him.
that is why you can arrest people. That's why you can arrest people that you don't beat them.
Gentlemen.
Obi, let us
Huh?
let us stop
Gentlemen.
condoning indiscipline. in
It's
this
not
country.
condoning discipline. That's why
Government
we
is
have.
unlike